Namaskaram, Srinivasi.
Namaste. Namaste.
You know, the Sabarimala issue, which has been very controversial now out in the media, what's your opinion on this?
In my opinion, there is no controversy in Sabarimala.
Really?
It's actually a news media and politicians made it like a controversy. And it's quite unfortunate because, we have been having this Sabarimala tradition for hundreds of years, several centuries. And so many of our families used to enjoy the pilgrimage to Sabarimala without any problem until last year. But lately, there was an issue that came through as a judgment by the Supreme Court. And that Supreme Court judgment is that anybody can go and visit Sabarimala on pilgrimage. Any devotees can go there. So you may ask, what was the difference in, prior to this?
Prior to this, yeah.
Basically, the Sabarimala pilgrimage was mainly done by men and also women of the non-productive age. That is basically
10 years.
Basically girls under the age of 10 and also ladies over the age of 50. That used to be the tradition in Sabarimala for centuries.
Okay.
And until 1991, there was no court ruling or judgment regarding that. But in 1991, the Kerala High Court put up a judgment saying that the ladies between the age of 10 and 50 are not allowed to go into the temple because some people started going there without looking at the tradition. So in order to stop that, Justice Paripurnan Commission and also they declared, provided a judgment against it. But lately, in the last few years, some people have looked at it and said, okay, it's a discrimination against women.
That's what I also felt initially. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But then, interestingly, there is no discrimination there.
Right.
In the Sabarimala case, there is only a discretion. Because basically, when men and women go there, but for women, there is a restriction because of the type of deity or type of the vigraha we have in Sabarimala.
Okay.
And as you know, in Hinduism, the Devta and Ishvara, that is a deity and the all-encompassing, the Paramatma or the single Godhead, the definitions are there. In Hindu culture or Hindu philosophy, the Lord is one, but the devotees can relate to the Lord in different ways.
Okay.
And it is umpteen different ways. And in our scriptures talk about 330 million gods.
Wow.
That means you and I can have our own style of God which we can relate to. And we know that the concept of God is all-encompassing, omniscient, omnipotent, and full of energy, the source of energy basically.
Okay.
And you go there, in order to tap that energy in the way you want the energy to be tapped. That means you define the God or concept which you want. And in Sabarimala, what happened is this God, the imagery of the God, or the Vigraha is the sculpture there. It has been imagined and consecrated as a Naishtika Brahmachari. Naishtika Brahmachari is actually a celibate monk with a lot of very strict ascetic practice. It's just like a monk. Sannyasi. Yeah. A monk's style of life is different from our life, right? Because as householders, we have so many different things, so many desires, and so many things to take care of in the family, in the society, at work, and everything. But for a sannyasi, he is limited or he is restricted in certain things, and then that restriction also is defined by the sannyasi himself.
So he decides who has to come and see me.
Yeah, that's right. So if I am a sannyasi and if I decide, okay, whom I'm interested in meeting, and that is the kind of concept it has been established in Sabarimala. So Naishtika Brahmachari means a celibate monk with a very deep level of brahmacharya or celibacy. And there the scriptures talk about 8 different levels of celibacy. And the different levels are there. In meeting a woman by a man and woman, they meet or they see each other is the first stage of that. And like that, it can progress into 8 stages of contact. And all those are banned in the Naishtika Brahmacharya.
So even to say initial contact is
it's the beginning of that beginning of a relationship,
right.
Basically.
So you don't want the deity doesn't want to be
that's right,
related to that.
And why a deity has been consecrated or imagined like that? Because as householders and also normal people, who has to fend for his daily livelihood and work in this society, this is an opportunity for them to practice celibacy and ascetic way of life. So in Sabarimala, there is a tradition of 41 days of vow they take, and that is with a strict, strictness regarding the food, the celibacy, and the way they live, and they wait for this pilgrimage to happen at the end of 41 days. So basically, they are all called Ayyappa. The devotees of Ayyappa are called Ayyappa. Why? Because they are relating the deity who is Ayyappa. So they want to have a one-to-one relationship with Ayyappa. So the devotee is Ayyappa and the deity is also Ayyappa. So the purpose of this is actually for these devotees to get yearly rejuvenation of a spiritual awakening. Every year they get this 41 days, and then at the end of the 41 days they go to the temple, have this this pilgrimage, and they come back, and then come back to the society as a very productive, much more productive human being. Fresh person. And also, interestingly, in Kerala families and also elsewhere in India, the ladies like that fact.
Of course.
Because ladies husbands and brothers and uncles, they go to the temple and they come back as very a different person. At least for few weeks, month and a half, they have taken this this period of penance, and then they have come back. They come back with a renewed spiritual energy, and the society is better for that.
Right. So all the ladies also support this, right? I mean, they don't want to go, and the men, they support in all the way.
Yeah, and it's not just support. Actually, they provide the facility for. For example, when I went to Sabarimala a few times, my mother, sisters, and everybody will prepare everything for my father and uncle and myself to go for this pilgrimage. So they make all the arrangements, and they make sure that we get all the facilities to keep this penance going for 41 days, so that the whole family is taking part in it. And interestingly, ladies say that you men require this therapy every year, but then we men, we wait for 40 years, actually from the age of 10 to 50. And that means it's all 40 years of penance they are doing without having to go through all these penance and also these rituals. They are actually waiting for 40 years, and they love that fact. And it is not like they are being deprived of anything. What they are saying is it is the tradition, and we know that the deity is a Naishtika Brahmachari, a celibate monk. And when you go and see a sannyasi, you are supposed to follow certain traditions, and we value that. So that's why I said there is no controversy there for the devoted people. But the controversy is created by people who are politicians, and also who are not particularly devoted in their mind, in my opinion. Because for devotees, there is no controversy, and they love the fact that they get to go after the age of 50. My sister, for example, sisters have gone to Sabarimala after they became 51, 52, and they enjoyed it. Actually, they said they have been to Sabarimala before they became age of 10 or 9 or 10, and they remembered everything what they experienced, and they kept that for 40 years, and then when they went back at the age of 50, they enjoyed it much more.
Right.
So Sabarimala is a very peculiar, very special temple. And as you know, in the Indian philosophical tradition, there's a lot of gods and goddesses and everything there, right? Here, the women entry of women is restricted somewhat, right? I mean, women can go, but then not between the age of 10 and 50. But you know what? In India, there are temples where they don't allow men to go in.
Yeah, I heard about that as well.
Yeah,
right?
and
like
there are
Artugal temple and
and there are temples where sannyasis are not allowed to go.
Oh,
Yeah, in Payyanur Subramanya Swami temple, the monks are not allowed to go there.
all right.
So India is a place of diversity. If the diversity in spiritual practice is not there in India, I think the mystic nature of India is gone. And I don't want to be living in India or enjoying in India where we have just one book and one preacher and one God and one concept of God. No, I want everybody to flourish. Be it Christian, Muslim, Hindus with all kinds of different ways of thoughts, right? And there are people who pray to Lord Shiva. There are people who love to go to Vishnu temple.
Right.
There are people who go to Hanuman temple.
Right.
They go to Devi temple. All these gods and goddesses have different ways of worshipping the deity, and there are different mantras are there and different ways of dealing with each of those temples. And with regard to the controversy, again.
Why is this government against this then? I mean, what's gonna?
Yeah.
Oh, are they benefiting anything from this or?
Actually,
from this
government it's basically because the philosophy of the leftist government is that the religion is actually the poison that corrupts people. That is the philosophy they have.
That's one of
that's
communism.
all, communist philosophy, right? But then not everybody buys into that. Even the communist party members don't buy into that. There are so many communist people. They go to Sabarimala and other temples as well. With respect to Sabarimala, there is an interesting thing that there are Ayyappa temples, and the concept of God in Sabarimala is Ayyappa.
Right.
There are Ayyappa temples near the Sabarimala temple. They allow anybody to go into the temple. There are Ayyappa temples where there is no restriction. Only in the temple at Sabarimala there is a restriction. You may ask why.
Yeah, of course, I will.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Yeah, that's right. You know what? The Dharma Shastra is the name of the God form, or the concept of God that has been consecrated in Sabarimala. So is other hundreds of temples in Kerala and other places.
Okay.
And Dharma Shastra in the Ayyappa form is also there in different temples. But Ayyappa, the concept of Ayyappa itself can be in different forms. For example, Jayaram, you are a son, you are a brother, you are an uncle, you are a father.
Okay.
It is the same Jayaram who is in different forms,
phases,
right?
yeah.
So similarly, Ayyappa, there is a child Ayyappa temple, child Dharma Shastra temple, a youth Dharma Shastra temple, a householder Dharma Shastra temple, and a sannyasi Dharma Shastra temple. So in a child temple in Kulatupuzha, anybody can go. And Aryankavar, it is a temple with, in the form of householder Ayyappa. Householder Ayyappa with 2 wives and kids.
Okay.
And there is no restriction. So basically the same person, based on the gesture they have, the mental poise, the mental gesture they have. You don't deal with your son just as you deal with your brother or someone else, right? It all depends on the relationship. So in this particular case in Sabarimala, the devotees want to relate to the Lord just as the ascetic monk, and they the devotees want to emulate, they want to relate to that concept. That's why they go to Sabarimala. And that's why I said there is no controversy. It is basically a discussion.
So, coming back to the same point,
Yeah.
what is the government benefiting from this? Like, what is this political, or, why the government is behind the Supreme Court law?
Yeah.
So
It is an interesting thing. I don't want to go into the controversial ideas in it, but at the same time, do you know that Kerala's revenue stream, basically Kerala has two top revenue streams. One is by liquor, selling liquor,
and
second is Sabarimala. Second stream of income for revenue for Kerala government is Sabarimala.
So they want to increase that.
They want to obviously they want to increase that, but whatever they are doing for the time being is actually not increasing that, because the devotees are not willing to donate money, because their needs are not met. The government is supposed to support and also provide facilities to people who actually want to go and do the pilgrimage. But now what they are doing is actually against the religion and also against the temple worship, the idol worship that is happening in Sabarimala. Idol worship is not the only way of worshipping the concept of God. We know that idol worship is based on devotion, and there is a method of knowledge, and there is karma yoga where you can do service to people and everything. But this particular aspect of devotion and reaching godliness or practicing spirituality is very important for people, and it is part of the diversity the India government is known for. India government is actually supporting that, and also India is known for this beautiful diversity, which anybody can practice any kind of religion as long as it is not violating the human rights. Basic human rights are to be kept. Otherwise, why tinker with something which is running very well? And also it is giving solace to so many people. Actually, during this Sabarimala season, the crime rate goes down. And the crime rate goes down, and then the thefts are going down, because the people, most of them are into Ayyappa. And interestingly, Ayyappa culture is so entrenched in that a policeman in Sabarimala is called Police Ayyappa. A chaiwala is called Chai Ayyappa, Chaiwala Ayyappa. And if I'm going there, I'm also an Ayyappa. The Lord is Ayyappa, I am Ayyappa, and everybody is Ayyappa. So it is the concept of Tattvamasi. Actually, you and me are one, and also it is the same Paramatma, or the all-encompassing, omnipotent energy source. We are all, and it is sort of you get a taste of it by going to Sabarimala. Have you been to Sabarimala?
I've been in my childhood.
Actually,
And after that, I didn't get a chance. I wish to go back.
Yeah, and you will enjoy it, because last time when I went, I had to wait for 14.5 hours in the lineup. Wow. And I'm not complaining at all.
I got friends over from various countries who fly every year, and most of them are monthly sometimes.
But in the thick of
they all are unhappy now.
Because of the issue there, right? Because in the busy period of Sabarimala season, I had to wait 14.5 hours, and then I don't have any complaint about it, because I enjoyed the whole experience, right? And when I come back, I think, I should go again. that is the impression we have. So any controversy about Sabarimala is unfortunate, quite unfortunate, because
it's a short term. Most likely, right?
I hope it is just a short term one.
Yeah. So, are you looking forward to the judgment, which is the review petition happening?
The next the review petition, in my opinion, what is going to happen is actually the previous judgment that the Supreme Court had provided. I doubt whether they did all the homework that is required for that, and also so many people were made aware of the situation only after the judgment came out. Now there are so many lawyers and also people, men of eminence and men and women of eminence. They they have come up with the philosophical background and also the need for the tradition to continue. And what they did was the Supreme Court took it just as a gender equality issue.
Right.
It is not a gender equality
It's not explained
issue.
properly.
It is not explained properly.
Yeah.
And Indian spirituality is not just a linear, logical thing.
Right.
It is quite non-linear, and no logic can, the logic the way we know it, no logic can provide you with any substantial proof for, because when you pray to a god, how can you get any proof for that? Actually, that's because it's a piece of stone or a piece of wood in which the image of the god has been created, sculptured, and also to that we do all kinds of worshipful services to it. So the simple logic won't work, because it is all about the gesture, the imagination, the imagery. The tantri or the chief priest has provided to this particular idol, and then the priest has decided that this is the way the particular idol will be treated. And you may ask why the idol needs to be treated, because the god can help himself. Then why do you get people involved?
Right.
Because the reason is that it is like looking at a mirror. The supreme energy is just like looking at a mirror. If I look at a mirror with an angry gesture, I get the same thing back.
Right.
So if I'm very pleased and also in a cordial way, I get that back. So the concept of God we put in is in different gestures we want to emulate and also we want to see in ourselves. It's basically, we are seeing ourselves in God.
Okay.
And that's why in Hindu temples are just one-on-one places. It is not like a place, it's not a public place where a service is done or a mass is conducted. No, it is tantric temples with the tantric traditions are one-to-one relationship with the
God directly.
Yeah, with the
Straight.
God relate. And the priest is there actually just as a facilitator. But then the devotee is connecting directly to the deity which is out there. And there is an erroneous notion people have that the temple is a public place. No, it is a private place, because the Indian constitution declared that the deity is a perpetual minor. Perpetual minor means you know that anybody with under the age of 18 is a minor and should be taken care of. By whom? People who have interest and also who care about that person, right? So a sculpture that is made with stone and wood will not be able to take care of itself for all the physical environment and physical aspect of it.
Right.
Spiritual aspect, yes, but the physical aspect somebody needs to be taken care of.
Okay.
That's where the temple needs to be cleaned, and all the activities in the temples needs to be managed by people, because it's a perpetual minor. And how do you do it? It is by providing the proper steps in the worship, by following the declared or stipulated traditions, not only by the priest, but also by the people who use the temple.
Okay.
It is basically, I would like to relate this to a sort of a business model. Okay. ISO 9000, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wrote an article about Kshetram ISO 9000, temple
Right.
ISO 9000.
The standards to
The
keep
standards.
the temple.
Standards.
Yeah, okay.
So what I'm saying is, if I start a business, I decide what my product is, I decide what my quality control is, and who is going to be my customers, and all those things I put, and then I say, okay, I put up a standard saying that, okay, I'm going to abide by these rules, and that's what makes my products or my company standardized, and also people trust in it. So when I look at a temple, it's actually a temple with a deity. That deity has a specific purpose. and specific methodology of dealing with the deity, and also specific way of conducting its festivals and conducting all the activities around it. And that's why, as a customer devotee, I go there and I enjoy that. Any changes to that must be done with utmost care.
Oh,
Because-
yeah, that's a new news to me.
Yeah,
I
because
never-
you know,
No, I've
basically,
heard of that.
if my product is really bad, the customers will talk, and then it is me who needs to make that changes,
Changes happen,
right? And similarly, if a devotee wanted any changes to the custom, the devotees will demand and they will change it. And now, basically, in women devotees, 99% of women devotees don't want to make these changes to it, because they will not go to this to Sabarimala, even if the rule, you were asking about the review petition.
Correct.
Even if Supreme Court says, okay, everybody can go, 99% or 98% of devotee ladies will not go there. Yeah, because the concepts are so well entrenched in there, and in no way it is discriminatory. It's only a discretion. It's only and the deity concept is such that everybody has room for enjoying the devotional worship. As I said, Ayyappa temples are there all over the place, so people can go to any of these temples during this period of between 10 and 50. They still can go
They
and
have other temples.
the other
Ayyappa
temples of
temples, yeah.
Ayyappa. Only the Sabarimala temple, where the Lord is in the form of sannyasi, ascetic, that's the only place where there is somewhat restriction happening. So
Anyway, thank you, Sumaji, for your time.
Oh.
And you explained a lot. And yeah,
I'm glad that you came. you came and
Correct.
asked me this question.
Yeah.
And
yeah, like others, everybody were having the same doubts. So
Yeah, that's
we
right.
will-
Yeah.
hope it will-
Hope you'll go to
I will,
Sabarimala,
definitely.
and also I have decided to go there as well again.
Okay.
And also, in my opinion, everybody should get this opportunity to enjoy. Even if let's forget about all the devotion and everything. Even for trekking, it's a beautiful place, just like Himalayas.
Yeah.
You can enjoy. It's
The
a
weather
hilltop
and-
temple weather, and
Yeah.
and the whole atmosphere is very rejuvenating. So I wish
Okay, once again.
wish you luck, and
Okay,
and
see
also
See
the next time
Yeah.
when you go, let me know.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.